Hi all, welcome back. In this session, we will be discussing the importance of research problem and we will be discussing and exploring the possible ways to identify research questions or narrow down our research topic. Let's discuss why formulating a research problem is important. Research formulation is the foundation of your study. It keeps you grounded. It lets you focus on one or two important aspects of your research topic. For example, during COVID time, there are a lot of mental health issues across age and social groups. So, for you, if you are studying or trying to understand mental health of people during COVID time, then it's a very broad topic. It doesn't help us understand what kind of people you are talking about or what you want to study or what do you mean by mental health. So in order to narrow it down, one can possibly look at following topics. For example, mental health of people living alone in isolation after COVID testing, or or emotional resilience of people who have been identified as COVID positive. And one can choose a specific population group, for example, elderly population or a parent of young people. So, formulating a research problem helps you to narrow down a research topic and help you to keep focus on one or two important element of your research. Now, let's talk about how to formulate research questions and what are the key characteristics. When you are formulating a research question, you should be mindful that topic should be compelling enough, that it should be interesting, topical, in realistic in nature, not like that you are exploring something which is undoable. It should interest people immediately. For example, if you study the coping mechanism of elderly people during lockdown, or use of digital technologies or digital media in uh, population group, specifically younger people or elderly people, and try to understand how digital media play an important role. So these are the very compelling topic and people will be very much interesting in understanding that how we can enhance technological support in order to improve the well-being and coping mechanism of the people. Also, the another important aspect of formulating research question is it should support multiple perspective. It should not be focused on one or two single ideas and perspective. It should cover multiple aspect, a multiple perspective. For example, if you want to understand the, let's use an example of mental illness. And how the health system is responding to mental health and mental illness of the patient who has been diagnosed with schizophrenia or depression or dementia. So in this case, you should not only take the clinical or clinician's perspective or psychiatric perspective. You should also seek a perspective from the caregiver, patient, and also different organization who has been working on this particular topic. So your research question should have multiple perspective and dimension attached to it. You should not look at you should not focus on one single perspective, and that is one of the characteristic of good research question. Other important element is whether the research is doable or not. Are we formulating a research question which will be taking a longer time than expected, or are we taking a very good research topic which is doable in nature? For example, you don't want to conduct a study which will take at least 7-8 years to complete your doctorate. So you should be focusing the size of research, whether you will be able to conduct the research on a given time. You should be focusing on what should be sample size and where the area of studies given the pandemic. So keep all those things in mind and think whether the research is doable enough or not. The research questions and the problems should be well supported by literature. When you are conducting literature review, you should identify researchers and academicians who had been publishing on a given topic and trying to understand what are the gaps in the study. Use those gaps in order to formulating a good research question. I'll give you my example. My doctoral study was on health system integration in NCD and mental health programs in Bihar in India. And in that study, when I was doing literature review, I found that there are a lot of people are talking about integrated healthcare, integrated health system. So there are a lot of discussion around integration. But when I was doing literature review, I realized and found that there is no conceptual clarity that what does it mean by integration. Different author and different academicians have different viewpoint or definition or conceptualization for integration. I found that there are a lot of conceptual clarity among integration, and I use that as a base. So you should use literature review strategically to support your formulation of research questions. As we have discussed in earlier section, your research problem should be focused on one or two elements, not in a broad way. Also, one of the important feature is the research problem should be contemporary in nature and relevant. Your research questions should be topical in contemporary time, and there is a need to generate more information, more knowledge, and generate the discussion around your given topic, because that's how the academic knowledge is created and shared. If you are studying something which already been researched widely and many people have talked about, then that research will not be very relevant. As I have given some example related with COVID, especially use of digital technology in contemporary time in the coping mechanism among different population, that could be a very good potential topic which help broader scientific community as well businesses and government to formulate policies around digital technology, how it helps and how it can harm people as well. So those topics are very topical, and you should keep in mind that your topic should be also topical, or your topic should be relevant to the current time. Another element of formulating research problem and question is you should keep in mind that whether the study is feasible to conduct or not, whether you have enough subjects, enough participant, or you have a medium to conduct interviews. Research is a very time consuming process and it requires a lot of resources, not in terms of money but it's in terms of effort. You spend a lot of money in collecting data, survey, interview questions. You should also keep in mind that whether the study is costing you more, because as a PhD student you might not have enough resource or your university might not be providing enough grant to conduct your study. So you should be also mindful that whether you have time and resources in order to conduct the study. And as I have discussed in previous slides, that it should be in focus and narrow and be specific, so that you can manage the research topic and your entire research project independently, because as a PhD student you are expected to manage your independent PhD studies. Other key features or characteristics of a research problem is it should confirm or extend the previous findings, and it should also generate a new knowledge which is very interesting to academic community. It should not repeat the findings which has already been discussed. So focus on the newness of your research, what new knowledge you are trying to generate from your PhD project. Ethics is very important in research area. If you read about the history of ethics, you might be aware that during World War I, during World War II, a lot of scientists in Europe has conducted unethical studies and giving drugs to the patient and the prisoners without their knowledge. Your study should be in ethical manner and it should be in line with your institutional review board so that they can approve. You should not carry any study which is not ethical in nature.